Okay, starting.
Good. Good afternoon, everybody. Namaskar. We've just released the communique of the full PB meeting held online yesterday on September 12th. And the main issues that we discussed, I'm going to just place before you. The first concerns the pandemic and the grave situation of the pandemic. I mean, it's now reached a stage where India has the ignominy of being the country which is contributing the highest number of positive cases every day in the world. Now, many other countries have flattened the curve is falling, but here it is continuously rising. And the government has completely abdicated its responsibilities, leaving it to the people to fend for themselves and passing the burden on to the states without giving them any help for though they are in the front line of fighting this pandemic. So there's an urgent need for augmenting our health facilities, for providing treatment to the people, and we have seen that this can be done. The government in Kerala, the LDF government led by the CPIM, is in fact doing this, providing free treatment up to the level of hospitalization and treatment from testing onwards, free to everybody. As a result, only 2% of the COVID patients have used private facilities. And even the private facilities, the charges are fixed. Nothing of that sort is being done by the central government. If it can happen in Kerala, why not here? The Politburo therefore demands that the central government must expand the hospital facilities, make provision for free treatment of all patients, and fix reasonable charges for private health facilities. तो इसलिए हमारी मांग है आज सरकार से फौरन इस महामारी से निपटने के लिए कि हॉस्पिटल के फैसिलिटी को फौरन बड़े पैमाने पर बढ़ाया जाए, मुफ्त में टेस्टिंग से लेकर हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन और ट्रीटमेंट तक मुफ्त दिया जाए सबको, और प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटलों के चार्जेस के ऊपर एक अंकुश लगाया जाए या उसको फिक्स करिए उनके साथ बातचीत करके. ये हो सकता है, ये हो रहा है अब आज केरल में, अपनी वामपंथी सरकार कर रही है वहां पे. अगर केरल में संभव है तो देश में क्यों नहीं. अब इसके लिए हमारी पार्टी ये दबाव निरंतर सरकार के ऊपर बनाए रखेगी. The second aspect we dealt with this, that the economic devastation that is happening in the country. Now, this economic devastation had begun well before the pandemic started, and this has become worse to the extent today that unemployment has been variously estimated to be for casual workers, contract workers, daily workers. It has reached a level of 15 crores of people who lost their jobs. Though government now says they are returning, they may be returning, but there's no work. The shopkeepers are opening their shops that were closed because of lockdown, but there's no revenue. And in addition, 21 million salaried employees have lost their jobs. In this situation, growing hunger, people are unable to survive. The CPIM Politburo demands immediate cash transfer of 7,500 rupees per month to every non-income tax paying family for a period of 6 months. Your godowns are stocked with food grain. 10.5 crores of food grain are rotting there. Distribute them free, 10 kilos per person per month for the next 6 months. Expand the REGA to ensure 200 days work at least a year with enhanced wages. Promulgate an Urban Employment Guarantee Act. Announce unemployment allowance to all the unemployed. ये कम से कम करे सरकार कि 7,500 रुपए हर महीना हर परिवार को जो इनकम टैक्स नहीं जमा करता है, अगले 6 महीने तक सरकार जो है कैश ट्रांसफर में दे. 10 किलो अनाज मुफ्त में बांटे हर इंसान को. जो आपका अनाज जो सड़ रहा है आपके गोडाउनों में, 10.5 करोड़ टन जो सड़ रही है वहां पे, उसको बांटिए मुफ्त. और रेगा को बढ़ाइए, रेगा के काम के अवसर को कम से कम 200 दिन हर साल, और उसके वेतन जो है बढ़ाइएगा और आपके शहरों के लिए उसी तरीके का एक एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम लागू करिए और अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट अलाउंस यानी आपके भत्ता दीजिए, जो बेरोजगारी भत्ता सभी लोगों के लिए, ये अनिवार्य है। और यहाँ पर भी केरला सरकार की आप दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि इस तरीके से अलग से वहां पर ये काम हो रहा है। टुडे इन केरला they are giving free food to 78 lakh people and social security pension per month to 58 lakh people. If this can be done in Kerala, why is it not being able to be done here? And in Kerala, while Kerala government is doing this sort of work, you have what? You have the Congress there, the main opposition, and the BJP working in tandem to destabilize that government. Instead of helping the efforts to face this pandemic, provide relief to the people. This is the role that they're playing in Kerala. This the CPIM Politburo has condemned. But the main point that we are seeing in this whole period is that while instead of fighting single-mindedly focus on combating the pandemic and providing relief to the people, they are implementing their real agenda, that is of sharpening communal polarization, relentless aggressive pursuit of these neoliberal economic reforms, that is the loot of our national wealth, abolition of all guarantees, protection of the labor laws to the working people, privatization, large scale of everything that is there in our country, and creating conditions for greater maximization of profits for the super rich. And our richest people in our country's corporates, the Ambanis and the Adanis, have got a bonanza out of these policies that this government is following. The communal polarization is being intensified, specifically targeting the Muslim minority community. You have authoritarian attacks on the rights of all individuals, particularly minorities and the marginalized sections, and those who are championing the cause of the marginalized and the underprivileged are being arrested under draconian laws like the UAPA, sedition, NSA, etc. Democratically elected state governments are sought to be destabilized and dismissed through horse trading, negating people's mandate, and denying the states their legitimate GST dues. That is complete assault on federalism and a fundamental feature of our constitution, and further cementing India's alliance with USA today in the world, where USA is seeking a realignment of forces in order to strengthen its global hegemony. There's a complete subversion of the criminal justice system, blatant misuse of agencies under the central government, and all constitutional independent authorities are being undermined. And this is a full-fledged offensive against democracy itself. So here the Politburo immediately demands that the arrest of innocent minorities, activists championing the rights of the people, especially the marginalized like Dalits, tribals, on trumped-up charges under draconian laws, they must be released immediately. And this is essential to safeguard democracy. तो आज के दिन हमारा पॉलिट ब्यूरो की मांग है कि बीजेपी सरकार जो अपनी निजी एजेंडे को लागू कर रही है, ना कि इस महामारी से बचाना देश को और लोगों के लिए राहत पहुंचाना, और इसके चलते हुए हमारे देश की संविधान की व्यवस्था को ही बिल्कुल खत्म करने पे, ध्वस्त करने पे लगे हुए हैं। देश की संपत्ति का लूट हो रहा है, मजदूर वर्ग के ऊपर उनके अधिकार और उनके कानूनों के ऊपर उसको रद्द करने की बात हो रही है। यानी मेहनतकश जनता, आम आवाम के जो जनवादी अधिकार है, मानव अधिकार है, उनको कुचला जा रहा है। कई सारे निर्दोषों को जेल में आपने बंद कर दी झूठे चार्जेस के आधार पर। तो इन सब चीजों के बारे में हम कह रहे हैं इसको बंद करवाना है, इसके लिए सीपीआईएम लड़ेगी। Next, the CPIM says that this attack on federalism is something that cannot be accepted. GST dues that are legitimate for the states must be paid by the center. If the center doesn't have money, the center must borrow, not say that the states must borrow. so that the state's debt burden will increase. There is centre's job, it is their mandate, the mandate of the parliament that they will give this compensation and these dues, that must be legitimate dues must be paid. So centre borrow, if necessary, from the Reserve Bank, and you pay the states. That is what we demand. As far as J&K is concerned, it's been a victim of this double lockdown, a double whammy attack on them that still continues. We welcome the feature that 6 mainstream political parties in the state have come together, demanding the restoration of full statehood for J&K and the reinstatement of Article 370, and to restart the political process in the state. That's a very welcome development. And therefore, we demand the immediate release of all detained since the 4th of August, 5th of August, 4th night, 5th morning of August 2019, including the former Chief Minister, Ms. Mehbooba Mufti, the restoration of full communications and transportation and other services so that people can move back to their normal lives. On the Indo-China standoff, the Politburo noted that the joint meeting between the foreign ministers of India and China, held in Moscow recently, produced a joint statement calling for disengagement and de-escalation on the LAC. And they declared to continue their efforts for arriving at a peaceful solution through diplomatic and military engagements, and stated that differences between India and China should not become disputes. Now, this has been reached in Moscow, but following the June clash where we lost 20 of our soldiers, there has been recently, again, reports while these talks are going on, of firing in the air, something that's never happened in the last 45 years. The situation is tense, and we think the CPIM feels that the government's approach of peaceful resolution through diplomatic and military talks, what it is continuing, we hope that in the parliament session that begins tomorrow, the government will make a statement and the country and all of us will know. But we adhere to this aspect that the peaceful solution must be arrived at through diplomatic and military talks. As far as the parliament session is concerned, this government had, during this last 6 months when parliament did not meet, during these 6 months, 11 ordinances have been issued by the government, 11. And each one of them is extremely damaging, both for the country and for the people. So the CPIM will oppose these ordinances being converted into law in the parliament. Our MPs have already moved statutory motions opposing these amendments and demanding their withdrawal. And all other important policy matters that the CPIM opposes in the interest of the country and in the interest of the people, like the new education policy, the National Digital Health Mission, which has its associated programs that collect sensitive personal information and data of individuals, apart from giving the blueprint for complete privatization of healthcare. This is a very serious matter concerning the protection of personal privacy. And this is going to be handed over to the private insurance companies and to big pharmaceutical companies. This is a breach of privacy, which the Supreme Court said is a breach of a fundamental right. Then you have the environmental impact assessment and the new mining regulations that they brought about, which it means a complete loot of our mineral resources while destroying our forest cover and ruining the lives of crores of our Adivasis, which is the natural habitat in the forests. All these issues, we say, must be subjected to a thorough scrutiny by the parliament and its committees, and before any implementation can proceed. Likewise, we'll also raise the issue of for Facebook and the BJP's nexus, a very dangerous thing that is happening in the country that was exposed by the Wall Street Journal earlier. Last year, it was exposed by the New York Times. And all these things, a thorough inquiry is required. There are demands for a JPC. And we'll see if JPC is there, fine, let there be a JPC. But this is something that has to be inquired. The BJP and the Facebook cannot be allowed to get away with the conspiracy to destroy Indian democracy and spread fake news amongst our people. So therefore, on all these issues, यानी आने वाले पार्लियामेंट के सत्र में बहुत सारे गंभीर सवाले हैं, अहम सवाले हैं, जिसको सीपीएम उठाएगी। 11 अध्यादेश जो सरकार लाई है, जो हम सबसे ना देश के हित में है, खासतौर पर वो अध्यादेश जो हमारे किसानों को खिलाफ और खेती के खिलाफ है, उन चीजों को कानून में बदलने से हम रोकना चाहते हैं। ये 11 अध्यादेशों के वापस लेने के लिए जो प्रस्ताव जो रखने चाहिए पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, उस प्रस्तावों का नोटिस सीपीएम के एमपी दे चुके हैं दोनों सदनों में। और इसके अलावा जितने भी जो नए निर्णय जो सरकार ली, नया शिक्षा नीति, सरकार जो नया स्वास्थ्य के लिए जो नेशनल डिजिटल एक स्वास्थ्य स्कीम बनाया, और जो जिसका मतलब है पूरी की पूरी स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र का निजीकरण करे। आपके जो हमारे जंगल है उनको ध्वस्त करके बड़े बड़े कॉरपोरेटों के लिए, पूंजीपतियों के लिए, दुनिया के और देश के हमारे संसाधनों की लूट करने की अधिकार जो दे रहे हैं, जिसके चलते हुए करोड़ों आदिवासियों की जो जंगलों में रहते हैं वो बर्बाद होंगे, उनकी जिंदगी। ये सब बातें, इस तरीके की बातें कई सारे हैं। ये सब बातों के बारे में चर्चा हो पार्लियामेंट में, पार्लियामेंट्री रुझानों के आधार पर, रवैये के आधार पर पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटियां इसकी परीक्षण करें और तभी जो है इसको लागू कर पाए। और साथ ही साथ ये फेसबुक और भाजपा के बीच में जो ये गठबंधन अब साबित हो रहा है, ये जो फेक न्यूज चलाने में अब ये साबित हो रहा है, जिसके चलते हुए ये हेट स्पीचेस को बढ़ोतरी देने के लिए, ये सब हमारी देश की जनतंत्र को ही ध्वस्त कर रहा है। हम चाहेंगे इसके अंदर एक बड़ी इंक्वायरी हो, एक जेपीसी भी गठन हो, और ये इंक्वायरी के आधार पर फेसबुक बुक के ऊपर और जो भी देश के अंदर पाया जाएगा इस तरीके की साठगांठ करके देश के अंदर जनतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को ही खत्म करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उन पर कार्रवाई हो। ये सब सवाल हम पार्लियामेंट के अंदर उठाएंगे। तो इसी के आधार पर पॉलिट ब्यूरो ने यह तय किया कि सितंबर 17 से सितंबर 22 जब अपनी सांसद चल रही होगी, ये पूरा हफ्ता, ये 6 दिन हम इनको अपनाएंगे विरोध के रूप में, विरोध दिवसों के रूप में। और ये पूरे देश भर में, हर प्रदेश में, हर प्रांत में ये सवालों के ऊपर हम अभी जो मैंने बताया, इन सभी सवालों के साथ जोड़ते हुए, और जो अत्याचार जो हो रहे हैं हमारे महिलाएं, दलित और आदिवासियों के ऊपर, और जो हमारे देश के अंदर जो जनतंत्र के ऊपर जो एक किस्म की निरंकुश वातावरण जो बनाई जा रही है, जो इमरजेंसी से भी बदतर जो नजर आ रही है देश के लोगों की जनवादी अधिकार और मानवाधिकारों के ऊपर, और जो भी सरकार का विरोध करता है उसको जेल में डाल दें, अब यूएपीए में या सेडिशन में। देश का जो संपत्ति का जो लूट जो हो रहा है, इन सभी सवालों को लेकर। लेकिन 4 मुख्य बातें हैं जिसके ऊपर हमारी फोकस रहेगी ये 17 से 22 वाली कैंपेन में पूरे देश भर में। और वो है, सबसे पहली बात, सब परिवारों को जो इनकम टैक्स नहीं भरती है उनको 7,500 रुपए हर महीने अगले 6 महीने तक दीजिए। हर व्यक्ति को 10 किलो अनाज मुफ्त में बांटिए हर महीने अगले 6 महीने तक। रेगा की व्यवस्था बढ़ाइए 200 दिन कम से कम हर साल, और वहां पर वेतन भी बढ़ाइएगा। शहरों में इसी तरीके की रोजगार गारंटी एक्ट कानून ले आइए, और आपको बेरोजगारी भत्ता देना होगा सब लोग जो बेरोजगार हुए बड़ी तादाद में। और चौथा, हमारे देश के संविधान और संवैधानिक व्यवस्था की रक्षा, और संविधान जो हम सबको अधिकार देती है, गारंटी देती है, वो गारंटियों की उसकी सुरक्षा करना, ये एक मुख्य कर्तव्य बन गया है आज हर देशभक्त का। और इन सवालों पर ये अभियान हम चलाएंगे 17 से 22 तारीख तक। तो ये है मुख्य बातें। So these are the most important thing. We'll have this week-long protest movement all across India. Cash transfers, free food grain, extension of REGA and creating employment opportunities, and in the defense of Indian Constitution and its fundamental guarantees of liberty, equality, and fraternity to all our citizens. So this is our appeal to the Indian people. Come, today we need to save India so that we can change India for the better tomorrow, and join us in this struggle for the sake of creating a better India. Thank you. This is what we had. So let me take the questions that are now coming. There's some news coming in that Sitaram Yechury's name has already been removed from the charge sheet. Is it true? Any official communication from Delhi police? None at all. No communication of how this the charge sheet came into the public domain. How did it come into the public domain? Whether the police released it, who released it, and how police is supposed to inquire into what they call the Delhi riots, which is basically the Delhi communal violence. Instead of doing that, they are investigating the anti-CAA actions, peaceful protests, and linking them up with the Delhi riots. This is a conspiracy. How is this link up being done? 56 people have died in that communal violence in Delhi. What is the charge sheet on any one of them of how these murders occurred? Who's responsible? None. Hate speeches were given before this communal violence started, and it started on the dot on the blueprint of the hate speeches given by BJP leaders in Delhi, by Union Finance Minister of State, Union Minister of State for Finance, and on that very incendiary hate speeches were given. On that there is no charge sheet. What is the police investigating? Is it investigating what they call the Delhi riots? Or is it looking of how to frame people and allow the actual culprits of this violence to go scot-free, and to book all those who have participated in peaceful protests against the CAA? Yes, I participated in these protest actions. That is my right, constitutional right, and it's my duty to defend the Indian Constitution. Whoever may violate that Indian Constitution, whether it's the government itself, in defense of the Indian Constitution, I shall rise. If they think they're going to cow down people and political activists through such actions, such cowardly actions, where there is no apparent connection between the anti-CAA peaceful protests and this Delhi communal violence. Remember, at least I, who have been named there, are one of those who fought the emergency, restored democracy in India, so that people like them also can come to power. And we fought then, we'll fight now. No compromise on any attack on the Indian Constitution or effort to undermine it or to frame innocent people, particularly our Muslim minorities, and to charge them on offenses they did not commit. The victims are being charged with offenses. So this is something that will not be, we will not allow that to happen, and don't try to intimidate us. That's all we can tell the Delhi police. They are working under the direct instructions of the Union Home Ministry. We know that. So we will only tell them that this sort of a conspiracy that you are creating is something that is not going to work. Well, I have received no information about any withdrawal of my name. Then the next question is, what impact do you think that the economic crisis will have on the country? How government can improve things? The impact it's already having, we are in one of the worst recessions that India has ever seen since we became free and independent. Since the day we got our freedom and independence, we've never seen such economic destruction and decline. Minus 23.9% of the GDP in one quarter, the worst in the world amongst all major economies. This is unprecedented. This is already happening. What is the way out? Why is this crisis, which started before the pandemic? It started with demonetization and the GST implementation. Why is this happening? Because people just don't have money to buy anything. There's no demand in the country. People's purchasing power has completely vanished. And instead of increasing that purchasing power, what is the government doing? Government is saying that I'll create incentives for private investors to come and invest, private capital. So when they invest, employment opportunities will grow, and then the economy will grow. So they've made massive plans. That Atmanirbhar program of Modi ji, it's not an Atmanirbhar program, it's an Atma Samarpan program. It is economic self-subservience. Anyway, that program, the bulk of it, 90% of it is for provision of loans. Now tell me, who is going to take loan and produce something that cannot be sold? This cannot be sold because people don't have money to buy. And so long as something is not sold, neither will they make their profits, nor the economy will grow. So the only way out, solution is government, instead of making all these grandiose announcement of availability of capital for private sector to invest, that money the government uses in public investments, builds a much needed infrastructure. And for building that, you'll have to create huge number of jobs. And when these people start earning and spending their money, the demand in the economy will start growing, and our closed factories, our MSMEs, they'll again start reopening as a result of it. That is the way economic revival is possible. But to do that, this government doesn't want to upset its crony capitalists, crony friends, who have been looting the country and looting our national wealth. So that is the problem. This government's complete surrender to international and domestic corporate interests. That is ruining our economy, ruining the lives of our people. The alternative is there, as I said. And Prashant Raghuvansham, I'm sure it's about Kerala. Yes. Gold smuggling case in Kerala is developing into many other investigations. Roles of son of PB member and of Central Committee member being investigated. A sitting minister is questioned. Do you think this is affecting the image of the CPM at the national level? On the contrary, we have said, CPM has said very clearly, gold smuggling, this is a matter that comes under the jurisdiction of the central government. All laws connected with the customs, with the issue of smuggling, everything is a central law. And it's a central subject. So we said, the state government, the party, said it is for the central government to investigate if this has been happening. So we said central government investigate, the central government that deputed the National Investigation Agency to do it. So it's not correct to say CPM asked for it. Now, this is it is not that we asked for it. The central government is the deciding authority. They have decided. Investigation is on. Yes, what you have said may be correct. Many of these people are being questioned. But one thing is for clear: investigation is on. The CPIM is on record saying it, and I'll repeat it. After the investigation, whoever is found guilty, punishment in accordance with law must be given. So let this investigation happen. Let it be completed, and then we shall see. But we are saying that punish in accordance with law on the basis of a proper investigation. Now, do you think unlock started by the COVID has impacted number of COVID cases? You see, the lockdown was unplanned, abrupt, unprepared, and a classic Modi style of functioning. 4-hour notice for demonetization. 4-hour notice for this most stringent lockdown in the world. So people could not prepare. State governments could not prepare. If you had given adequate warning and time, there's lakhs and lakhs of our migrant working brothers and their families. They would have gone back to their homes on their own charges, using the railways that were running there. But instead, you created this sort of a total anarchy by which you ruined their lives and you created conditions for the spread of the pandemic because of the manner in which they were surging together. So the way the lockdown has been withdrawn, That lockdown withdrawal has also been so abrupt, without planning. And now the situation, Prime Minister Modi and the government are saying, now it's your business. You look after yourselves. We have nothing to do. We'll do our business. That is, destroy the Indian constitution, attack the Indian people, ruin the Indian economy. That they are doing. So this lockdown is not the reason for the COVID, the thing increasing. I mean, removal of the lockdown is not the reason. Lockdown and the withdrawal from the lockdown, neither of them have produced any results. The pandemic is surging. It's surging on its own pattern, and that is continuing. An unfortunate part is unnecessarily many lives to be lost because of the complete neglect of the central government and Prime Minister Modi. And what else is there? Do you think, Comrade, maybe some questions would have come on your WhatsApp? Can you check that, please? Okay. I'll have a look. Yeah, this Divyendu Bishwasas have answered that my name has been withdrawn from the charge sheet. No, I have not heard anything. That is one. No, there are no other questions. So since there are no other questions, then all I can do is thank you very much. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप इस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में आए और हम यही चाहते हैं कि जो बातें हमने रखी वो हमारी अपील है जनता से और आपसे भी कि इन बातों को पहुंचाइएगा आप लोगों तक ताकि हम सब मिलकर एक नया भारत का निर्माण करें, एक बेहतर भारत का निर्माण करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच।